The Apex, the top notch of your talent tree. This is Blizzard's attempt to redefine class identity in World of Warcraft, to make you care even more about talents, even more than you did. This is the main class feature of the new expansion Midnight that should make you enjoy your class even more, provide that satisfying depth it's missing after all the pruning. But are they a true game changer, or would you rather spend your talent points somewhere else? Will they actually change your rotation? Do they bring flashy visuals and satisfying moments in your gameplay? Are they good enough to shake up the tank meta in retail WoW? Today, we're finding out. What's up everyone, my name is Brink and welcome to my channel. The dust has finally settled and Apex talents have reached their final forms. These new additions to your specialization talent trees are designed to modify and enhance core abilities for each spec. Let's find out how much fun they bring. Because in today's video, we're taking a look at every set of Apex talents from a tank's perspective and ranking them in a full tier list. Let's dive straight in alphabetical order. Most Apex talents follow a similar structure. You get an introduction node, a second node that costs 2 points, that either expands or buffs the core mechanic, and a third node that adds extra power or flair on top of that. Let's check out the Blood Deathknight. The Blood Deathknight Apex talent is called Dance of Midnight, and it allows you to stack multiple dancing rune weapons at once. More weapons means more damage, more parry and more survivability overall. Visually, the effect is there, but sometimes harder to notice. When you cast Dancing Rune Weapon, your character already explodes into a red fury of effects, so that extra weapon doesn't always stand out immediately. But once you spot them floating around you, it definitely feels powerful. The first node can make your hard strike cost no runes when you parry an attack and deal more damage. The second node helps you trigger that additional Dancing Rune Weapon for 6 seconds, leaning further into the fantasy of overwhelming enemies with dancing blades. The last node buffs both your damage and survivability. For me, that third node is a bit underwhelming on its own, but that said, it synergizes really well with the new Sand Lane hero talents, which helps it feel more impactful in practice. You won't have Dancing Rune Weapons up 100% of the time. It's still a chance-based effect tied to cooldowns, but when it procs and you've got multiple weapons floating in the air, it's absolutely noticeable. Overall, it's a very cool and thematic mechanic. Now, if we're ranking the spell Dancing Rune Weapon itself, that would easily be S tier, but in this video we're ranking the Apex talents, not the base abilities. And honestly, I really like the vibe of these talents. I would definitely spend my points here instead of somewhere else in the talent tree. So for the Blood Deathknight, Dance of Midnight earns a solid A tier for me. The Brewmaster Monk. The Apex is called Bring Me Another. Here's what the Apex talent does. Every time you drink a brew, there's a 20% chance to leave behind an empty barrel. When you use your keg smash, that barrel gets thrown along with it, hitting your main target and then bouncing up to 4 additional enemies for damage. If you invest a bit more points. The second node makes getting an empty barrel reset keg smash's cooldown, make it free to cast and boost all physical damage by 10%. This is where the talent really starts to feel impactful. And if you go all in, the top tier node, casting Fortifying Brew or Celestial Brew, taps a fresh keg, granting you and 2 nearby allies a buff called Refreshing Drink. This automatically heals anyone who takes damage over 8 seconds. Basically a smart reactive mini heal that kicks in exactly when you need it. In short, this Apex talent makes you brew and keg smash hit harder, reset more often, bounce through extra enemies and provide automatic self-healing. It's excellent for both damage and survivability, especially in big pools. Now, Refreshing Drink is nothing to be sniffed at. This healing over time effect is exactly what Brewmaster needed to feel more self-sustained, on par with the other tanks. This combined with the new damage absorb tools puts Brewmaster in a really strong spot right now. Honestly, the self-healing kit even does a better job than Celestial Brew. It's that strong. That said, I'm not a huge fan of the empty barrel bouncing visually. Seeing it bounce from one enemy to another isn't very appealing to me. Abilities like Flurry Strike just look way better. But again, just like with the Blood Deathknight, we're not here to rank abilities. The Keg Smash reset does feel impactful, and I'm very happy to see Breath of Fire back into rotation again. Gameplay wise, it flows very well, even though the visuals don't fully sell it for me. Overall, Refreshing Drink and the Apex talent package are very strong, but for me it sits just behind the Blood Deathknight. So Brewmaster Monk earns a solid A tier, slightly below the Deathknight. Protection Paladin. Vanguard. The Protection Paladin Apex talent is all about enhancing your shield based gameplay, and it does so by leaning into the classic Holy Vanguard fantasy. Judgment has a chance to grant you Vanguard, providing a Vengeance shield to leave an echoing bolt of light. The second node buffs Judgment and grants you holy power, which you're going to need to fuel your shield abilities. This immediately makes your judgment feel more important. It already hits more targets for easy tagging your enemies, but now it's also a setup tool rather than just a filler button. The final node increases the damage of Shield of the Righteous, and on top of that, it also provides Vanguard during Avenging Wrath. That's a huge thematic win. Popping wings and becoming an unbreakable frontline defender just feels right for the Paladin. Visually, this Apex Talent looks really cool in my opinion. Shield throws feel heavier, Shield of the Righteous impact is really noticeable, holy effects are brighter and impactful, and Vanguard as a concept just sounds cool for the class fantasy alone. If you do simplify what this talent does, it buffs judgment and turns it into a proper setup button that supercharges your next Avenger's Shield and Shield of the Righteous, making your rotation hit harder and cleave more targets. And visually, it absolutely delivers. What I really don't mind is that it doesn't force a new rotation on you. You're already pressing judgment before throwing your shield. You could argue that you would throw your shield first and then use judgment in closer range, but this way it just reinforces that natural flow. In that sense, the design is simple, elegant and intuitive. There's definitely enough impact here to justify spending your Apex points. And what really sells it for me is how well the talents are implemented. From the first node all the way to the last, every point feels rewarding and satisfying to take. Because of that, Protection Paladin earns a well-deserved S tier placement. The Vengeance Demonhunter. Untethered Rage. This Apex talent turns soul spending into a kind of mini lottery where you can find free metamorphosis windows with bad luck protection built into it to keep it consistent. And let's be honest, if you're a Demon Hunter enjoyer, metamorphosis is your favorite button. If you could tank 24/7 in meta, you absolutely would. Well, this talent gets you closer than ever. Untethered Rage allows you to press metamorphosis without consuming the cooldown, giving you a lot more meta uptime, and it definitely procs. Thanks to the bad luck protection on the final node, it's not just RNG, it's actually reliable. Now, extra metamorphosis lasting 10 seconds is nothing to be sniffed at. More armor, more leech, more survivability is always good, but at the same time, it does feel a bit stale to me. There's no new visual effect, no fresh animation, no real wow moment. Meta already existed. You're just pressing it more often. From a gameplay perspective, you're not really changing how you play or giving it more meaning. You're just extending what you're already doing. This might be enough for the die-hard Vengeance players out there, but maybe not. Leave a comment below if you play Vengeance and let me know what you think. And even though I'm sure it will perform very well in high keys, it doesn't feel game-changing or particularly exciting compared to some of the other Apex talents we've looked at. And because of that, Vengeance Demonhunter Apex talents lands in B tier for me. Guardian Duid. Wild Guardian. Here's the deal with this Apex talent. After you use Berserk or Incarnation, you gain access to Wild Guardian. And honestly, the name fits perfectly. This is an ability you actively time, and it's best used when you're about to go big. When you activate Wild Guardian, your next two Iron Furs, your Maul, and your Frenzied Regeneration all get echoed. That means you essentially get free casts of these abilities. And for the Guardian Druid, that translates directly into extra defenses. The bonus damage from echoes is nice, but let's be real. As a Guardian, the real value here is survivability. You want to pull big, stay alive, and let the damage come in naturally. In short, this talent is perfect for big pulls or heavy damage phases, giving you additional Iron Furs and Frenzied Regeneration exactly when you need them the most, while still adding a bit of extra damage on top. This talent honestly feels like a defensive nuke. Pop it at the right moment and your action bar will light up as a Christmas tree. One of the classic Guardian problems has always been pacing. You'd go absolutely crazy on one pack and then walk into the next one and have to wait for your big cooldown to come back up. With Wild Guardian, that problem is mostly solved. Now you have a middle ground. First pack, use Incarnation. Next pack, pop Wild Guardian. And still you got your bark skins to help out. It's nice to see a broader toolkit for the bear, because now suddenly you have something for every pull, and that feels incredible. Visually, we maybe could have expected a bit more. And if I remember correctly, early in the beta there were Spirit of the Wild visuals, almost like 3-form guardians helping you out. I'm not sure why that's gone or if it's coming back, but visually it does feel a bit toned down compared to what it could have been. That said, gameplay wise, this is exactly what the Guardian Duid needed, to feel more engaging and more consistent. And because of that reason, Guardian Duid's Apex talents earns an S tier placement for me, sitting just behind the Protection Paladin. The Protection Warrior. Phalanx. Here's what the Apex talent does. First up, Thunderclap now empowers your next shield slam, making it hit harder and cleave multiple enemies. On top of that, it reduces the damage those enemies deal to you by 5% for 8 seconds, which is basically a mini defensive buff for your group baked in right into your rotation. If you invest a bit more points, Thunderclap and Phalanx's Wave of Force deal 10% more damage, giving your AoE some extra punch. And finally, while Shield Block is active, your Shield Slam hits harder and crits more often, rewarding you for proper defensive uptime. In short, this Apex talent makes your core abilities hit bigger, protect you better and deal more AoE damage, all while reinforcing good defensive gameplay. There's also some really nice synergies with Shield Slam and the Colossus Hero talent tree, which definitely helps it feel more cohesive. For the sake of this video though, I'm focusing on the core gameplay impact of the Apex talents itself. Visually, it's not bad at all. The abilities feel weighty, Shield Slam has impact, and you see the rubble and debris flying off your shields when it connects. Gameplay wise, this talent actually creates a mini priority shift in your rotation. You want to Thunderclap, then activate your Shield Block and then fire off your Shield Slams to get maximum value. So yes, this Apex talent does impact your rotation, also in a good way, without disrupting your gameplay. Here's where it gets interesting. If you're playing Colossus, this Apex talent fits really well into the feedback loop that defines the spec. The Apex talent reinforces that back and forth synergy, rewarding timing and awareness while making your rotation feel more impactful when paired with Colossus. But here's why it falls a bit short for me. It does change how you press your buttons. It doesn't really change how the class feels. You're still doing warrior things. Clapping, blocking, slamming. The buttons are the same, the visuals are familiar, and the fantasy hasn't really evolved. It's not bad, not even close. It's solid, reliable, and you absolutely spend points in it, because more damage and more mitigation is always good to have. And it definitely makes your abilities feel more impactful. But compared to Apex talents that introduce new mechanics, pacing or defensive windows, this one feels a bit safe. I also think the visuals could do a lot more to sell the impact. With all the meaning and synergy behind Shield Slam, I would love to see it feel like an insane earth-shattering hit, putting your shoulder into it. But instead, it's just some brown rubble flying around. That disconnects between mechanical importance and visual flair, keeps it from feeling as exciting as it could be. And for that reason, Protection Warrior Apex talents lands in B tier for me. Strong, dependable, but not quite staggering. And there you have it. That's the full Apex talent tier list from my perspective. Just to clarify, this isn't a tier list for the classes as a whole. That could be a whole nother video. Today, we're strictly ranking the Apex talents and breaking down how they work and what makes them fun, impactful or underwhelming. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe and drop a comment letting me know which Apex talents impressed you the most, or which one you think deserves a higher or lower spot. Thanks for watching, and as always, Brinks out.